Commander Zark looked at the massive screen in his command center. His purple eyes widened with surprise. Then he started laughing. "Are you serious?" he asked his scout officer. "Just one ship." The small alien with 4 arms nodded quickly. "Yes, Commander. Only one human ship is coming toward us. It looks very old and small." Zark laughed even louder. Around him, other alien officers began to laugh too. The sound filled the entire command bridge of the giant warship. "One ship," Zark said, wiping tears from his eyes. "The humans are sending one tiny ship against our entire fleet." He turned to look out the window. In space, he could see hundreds of alien warships. Each ship was huge and powerful. They had the best weapons in the galaxy, the best shields, the best technology. There were exactly 500 warships in his fleet, and the humans were sending just one ship to fight them all. "Sir," said another officer, "should we prepare for battle?" "Battle?" Zark laughed again. "This won't be a battle. This will be target practice." The alien fleet belonged to the Galactic Council. They were here to teach Earth a lesson. For too long, humans had refused to join the Council. They said they wanted to stay independent. They said they didn't need help from other species. "Humans think they are so special," Zark muttered. "Today we show them they are nothing." The scout officer looked nervous. "Commander, the human ship is still approaching. It's not trying to run away." "Of course it's not running," Zark said. "It probably can't. Human technology is so old and basic. I bet their engines are too slow to escape." On the main screen, they could now see the human ship clearly. It was small and white. It looked simple and clean, but not impressive at all. Compared to the alien warships with their spikes and armor and glowing weapons, the human ship looked like a toy. "Look at that thing," said another officer. "It has no visible weapons, no armor plating, no shield generators that we can see." "Maybe it's just a messenger ship," suggested the scout. Zark shook his head. "No. The humans sent this to represent their entire planet. They think one ship is enough to scare us away." He turned to his weapons officer. "Power up all weapon systems. Let's end this quickly." Red lights began flashing throughout the ship. Alarms sounded. All 500 ships in the fleet received the same order: prepare for attack. But something strange happened. The human ship just stopped moving. It sat in space, not moving forward or backward. It wasn't trying to attack. It wasn't trying to run away. It was just waiting. "Why isn't it doing anything?" asked the nervous scout officer. Zark frowned. This was not what he expected. Enemy ships usually tried to fight or flee when they saw his massive fleet. But this little human ship was just floating there calmly. "Maybe they're scared," he said. "Maybe they know they can't win." "But sir," said the weapons officer, "if they're scared, why don't they surrender? Why don't they try to run?" Zark didn't have an answer. He stared at the human ship on the screen. It looked so small and helpless, but there was something about the way it just sat there that made him feel uncomfortable. "Commander," called the communication officer. "We're receiving a message from the human ship." "Put it on screen," Zark ordered. The face of a human appeared on the main display. It was a woman with short brown hair and calm blue eyes. She wore a simple white uniform. She looked completely relaxed, as if she was talking to an old friend instead of facing 500 enemy warships. "Greetings," the human said in a clear, steady voice. "I am Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Mercy. We have come to talk." Zark laughed. "Talk? You came to surrender, you mean?" But Captain Chen didn't look scared or worried. She smiled slightly. "We prefer to solve problems with words, not weapons. We're asking you politely to leave this solar system and return to your own space." The alien officers looked at each other in shock. Was this human serious? Was she really asking them to leave? "You have one small ship," Zark said, his voice getting angry. "We have 500 warships, and you want us to leave?" "Yes," Captain Chen said simply. "It would be better for everyone." Zark's face turned darker purple with rage. How dare this human speak to him like this? How dare she act like she had any power here? "You have exactly 1 minute to surrender," he snarled, "or we will destroy you." Captain Chen's expression didn't change. She still looked calm and peaceful. But for just a moment something flickered in her blue eyes, something that made Zark's blood run cold. "Commander," she said quietly, "you really don't want to do this." The transmission ended. The screen went black. Zark stared at the empty screen. Around him, his officers waited for orders. The human ship still floated in space, silent and still. But now somehow that small white ship didn't look quite so harmless anymore. Commander Zark stared at the black screen where Captain Chen's face had been just moments ago. Her calm blue eyes and quiet warning kept playing in his mind. You really don't want to do this. What did that mean? What could one tiny human ship do against his mighty fleet? Sir, asked the weapons officer. Should we attack? Zark shook his purple head, trying to clear his thoughts. He was being foolish. He was letting one human woman make him nervous. That was ridiculous. He commanded 500 of the most powerful warships in the galaxy. Open a channel to the human ship, he ordered. The communication officer pressed some buttons. Channel open, Commander. Human vessel Mercy, Zark said, his voice loud and threatening. This is your final warning. Surrender now or face complete destruction. You have 30 seconds. For a long moment there was only silence. Then Captain Chen's voice came through the speakers. She still sounded perfectly calm. Commander Zark, she said. We know who you are. We know about your reputation. You've destroyed many worlds and conquered many species. But Earth is different. Please turn around and go home. No one needs to die today. Zark's officers looked shocked. How did the human know his name? How did she know about his past victories? Impossible, whispered the scout officer. Our communication systems are encrypted. How did she? It doesn't matter, Zark roared. Time's up, human! He turned to his weapons officer. All ships prepare to fire. Target that pathetic little ship and blow it into space dust. Red warning lights flashed throughout the entire fleet. 500 massive alien warships turned their weapons toward the small white human vessel. Thousands of plasma cannons, laser batteries, and missile tubes locked onto their target. The human ship still didn't move. It just floated there peacefully, like it was enjoying a quiet day in space. All weapons charged and ready, Commander, reported the weapons officer. Fire! Zark screamed. Space exploded with light. Thousands of energy beams shot toward the human ship. Missiles streaked through the darkness. The combined firepower of 500 warships was enough to destroy an entire moon. The alien officers cheered. Finally, these annoying humans would learn their place in the galaxy. But then something impossible happened. All the weapons hit the human ship at exactly the same moment. There was a brilliant flash of light that lasted for several seconds. When the light faded, the alien officers expected to see empty space where the human ship had been. Instead, the small white vessel was still there. It looked exactly the same as before. Not a single scratch, not even a burn mark. What? Zark gasped. How is that possible? Sir, the weapons officer said, his voice shaking. All our shots hit the target directly. But there's some kind of energy field around their ship. It absorbed everything. Absorbed everything. Zark couldn't believe it. That's impossible. No shield technology in the galaxy can stop that much firepower. On the main screen, they could see a faint blue glow around the human ship. It was beautiful and mysterious, like nothing they had ever seen before. Commander, the communication officer called out. The human ship is sending another message. Put it on screen, Zark ordered. Captain Chen appeared again. She looked exactly the same as before. Still calm, still peaceful. But now there was something else in her expression. Disappointment. You didn't listen, she said quietly. We asked you nicely to leave. We warned you not to attack, but you chose violence anyway. Your shields won't protect you forever, Zark shouted. We have enough weapons to keep firing for hours. Our shields. Captain Chen looked confused for a moment. Then she smiled sadly. Commander, we haven't even turned on our defensive systems yet. What you just saw was our ship's basic hull protection. The alien officers stared at each other in horror. Basic hull protection? That energy field that had stopped their entire fleet's attack was just the ship's normal armor. That's impossible, Zark whispered. We really hoped this wouldn't be necessary, Captain Chen continued. But you've made your choice. You attacked a peaceful vessel without provocation. Earth's laws are very clear about what happens next. What are you talking about? Zark demanded. Captain Chen's blue eyes became cold and hard. Commander Zark, you and your fleet have just committed an act of war against humanity. According to our protocols, we are now authorized to defend ourselves. Something in her voice made every alien on every ship feel afraid. It was still quiet and controlled, but underneath was something dark and dangerous. Defend yourselves? Zark laughed, but his laugh sounded nervous now. You're one ship. We're 500. Numbers don't always matter, Commander, Captain Chen said. You're about to learn why Earth only sent one vessel. The communication ended again. The screen went black. For a moment, everything was quiet. The alien fleet floated in space, weapons still pointed at the small human ship. Nobody moved. Nobody spoke. Then the human ship began to change. A soft humming sound filled space. The white hull of the vessel started to glow with the same blue energy that had protected it from the attack. But this glow was different, brighter, more intense. "Sir," the scanner officer called out, his voice filled with panic. "The human ship is powering up some kind of weapons system, but I've never seen energy readings like this before." "How powerful?" Zark asked. The scanner officer looked at his instruments again. His face went pale. "Sir, if these readings are correct, that one ship has more firepower than our entire fleet combined." Zark felt his heart sink into his stomach. This couldn't be happening. This had to be some kind of trick. But deep down he was starting to understand the terrible truth. Earth hadn't sent just any ship to meet them, and Captain Chen's warning had been very real. You really don't want to do this. Now it was too late to listen. The blue glow around the human ship was getting brighter. Commander Zark watched in growing horror as the small white vessel began to transform before his eyes. "Sir," the scanner officer whispered, "the energy readings are still climbing. This shouldn't be possible." The humming sound in space was getting louder too. It seemed to come from everywhere at once, vibrating through the hulls of all 500 alien warships. Some of the younger officers were starting to look scared. "Commander," called the weapons officer, "should we fire again?" "All weapons are still charged." Zark hesitated. Their first attack had done nothing to the human ship. But maybe if they all fired together again, they could break through whatever was protecting it. "All ships," he ordered through the fleet communication system, "prepare for second attack. Target the human vessel. Fire on my command." But before he could give the order to fire, something incredible happened. The human ship moved. It had been sitting perfectly still for the past several minutes. Now suddenly it shot forward like lightning. One second it was far away. The next second it was right in the middle of the alien fleet. "How did it move so fast?" gasped the scout officer. "Our sensors couldn't even track it." The human ship stopped between two large alien battleships. It was so close that Zark could see every detail of its hull through his viewing window. "Sir," the navigation officer called out, "it's impossible for any ship to move that quickly. The G-forces alone would kill any crew inside." But the human ship looked perfectly fine. Its hull was still glowing with that mysterious blue energy, and now, for the first time, they could see weapons appearing on its surface. "Look," pointed the weapons officer. "Gun ports are opening." Small panels slid back on the human ship's hull. But the weapons that emerged didn't look like anything in the alien database. They were smooth and silver, and they glowed with the same blue energy as the ship's shields. "Commander," the scanner officer said, his voice shaking, "those weapons, the energy signature is unlike anything we've ever seen. It's like they're drawing power from somewhere else entirely." Zark felt sweat running down his purple face. This was all wrong. Earth was supposed to be a primitive planet. Humans were supposed to have basic technology. Old ships, weak weapons. This ship was clearly neither old nor weak. "All ships fire now," Zark screamed into his communicator, "before it can attack us." But it was too late. The human ship fired first. A single beam of bright blue light shot out from one of its weapons. The beam was beautiful, like liquid starlight flowing through space. It looked almost peaceful. The beam hit the alien battleship Death's Hand directly in the center. For a moment, nothing seemed to happen. The massive warship just sat there, its black armor gleaming in the light from nearby stars. Then the entire ship simply vanished. Not exploded, not broken apart, just gone, like it had never existed at all. "What happened to Death's Hand?" Zark shouted. "Sir," the scanner officer replied, his voice barely a whisper, "there's nothing left. No debris, no energy signature. It's just not there anymore." 500 alien warships had suddenly become 499. "Impossible," Zark muttered. "One shot can't destroy a battleship that size. It had the strongest armor in the fleet." The human ship turned slightly, its weapons now pointing at another alien vessel. The message was clear: "You're next." "All ships retreat," Zark ordered. "Get away from that thing." But the alien ships were too slow. Before they could move, the human vessel fired again. Another beautiful blue beam reached out and touched a second battleship. It disappeared just like the first one. 498 ships left. Sir, the communication officer called out. Ships throughout the fleet are requesting permission to abandon the mission. They want to run. No, Zark roared. We are the Galactic Council's finest fleet. We don't run from humans. But even as he said it, he could see more alien ships trying to turn around and flee. The human vessel was moving between them like a dancer, graceful and deadly. Every few seconds, another blue beam would flash out, and another warship would simply cease to exist. 497 ships. 96, 495. How is it moving like that? Demanded the navigation officer. No ship can change direction that quickly without tearing itself apart. The human vessel spun in a perfect circle, firing in all directions at once. 6 alien ships vanished simultaneously. 489 ships left. Sir, the scanner officer said, I'm detecting something strange about their movement pattern. It's like the ship isn't affected by normal physics. It's moving in ways that should be impossible. Zark watched in fascination and terror as the human ship danced through his fleet. It moved up, down, sideways, spinning and twisting in patterns that made no sense. Sometimes it seemed to be in 2 places at once. Sometimes it would disappear completely, only to reappear behind a different group of ships. And everywhere it went, alien vessels simply stopped existing. Commander, the weapons officer said desperately. Our remaining ships are trying to target it, but it moves too fast. Our computer systems can't lock on. 470 ships. 460. 450. Half his fleet was gone, and they hadn't managed to hit the human ship even once. Sir, called the communication officer, we're receiving another message from the human vessel. Put it on screen. Captain Chen appeared again. She was still in her clean white uniform, still perfectly calm. But now there was sadness in her blue eyes. Commander Zark, she said quietly, please order your ships to stop trying to escape. You're making this harder than it needs to be. Harder? Zark screamed. You're destroying my entire fleet. Only because you attacked us first, Captain Chen replied. We gave you a chance to leave peacefully. You chose war instead. 1 ship, Zark shouted. How can 1 ship do this? What kind of technology do you have? Captain Chen looked directly at him through the screen. Commander, you still don't understand, do you? This isn't about technology. What do you mean? This ship? The Mercy. It's not a warship, Commander. Zark felt his blood turn to ice. What? The Mercy is a rescue vessel. It's designed to save people, not fight them. We use ships like this to help other species during disasters, to evacuate planets, to provide medical aid. The scanner officer looked up from his instruments. Sir, she's telling the truth. Now that I know what to look for, I can see medical base signatures, rescue equipment, humanitarian supplies. A rescue ship, Zark whispered. Captain Chen nodded sadly. Earth sent our gentlest vessel to talk with you. We hoped that would show you our peaceful intentions. 400 ships left. 390, 380. But if this is just a rescue ship, Zark said, his voice getting smaller, then what would happen if you sent actual warships? Captain Chen's expression grew very serious. Commander, you really don't want to find out. The transmission ended. Zark stared at the empty screen as his fleet continued to disappear around him. A rescue ship, Earth's most peaceful vessel, was destroying the Galactic Council's finest fleet like they were made of paper. And somewhere in the back of his mind, a new and terrible question began to form. If this was what Earth's rescue ships could do, what were their actual weapons like? 3 hours later, Commander Zark sat in his personal quarters, staring at a cup of cold tea. His remaining 250 ships were slowly leaving the solar system under human escort. The invasion was over. His military career was probably over too, but he was alive. His crews were alive. And that was more than he had expected after attacking the human ship. A soft chime indicated someone wanted to speak with him. Come in, he said quietly. Captain Chen appeared on his personal communication screen. She had changed out of her white uniform and now wore simple civilian clothes. She looked tired but peaceful. Commander, she said gently, I wanted to check on you before your fleet leaves our space. Why? Zark asked. You defeated us completely. Why do you care about my well-being? Because that's what humans do, Captain Chen replied. We care about people, even people who tried to hurt us. Zark looked at her for a long moment. Captain, can I ask you something? Of course. Your ship? The Mercy. Could have destroyed my entire fleet in minutes. Why did you let so many of us survive? Captain Chen smiled sadly. Because destroying people isn't our goal, Commander. Protecting people is, but we attacked you. We tried to conquer your planet. Yes, you did. And we stopped you. But once you surrendered, there was no reason to keep fighting. Our job was done. Zark shook his head in amazement. In all my years as a military commander, I've never seen anything like this. When the Galactic Council conquers a system, we destroy everything that resists us. We make examples of our enemies. And how has that worked out? Captain Chen asked. What do you mean? Are you more secure now? Does the galaxy respect the Council or do they fear it? Zark thought about this. They fear us. But fear brings rebellion. There are always new enemies to fight. Exactly, Captain Chen nodded. Fear creates more enemies, but respect creates allies. So you let us live to show mercy? Partly, but also because we might need your help someday. Zark blinked in surprise. Our help? But we just tried to invade your planet. Today you were our enemy, Captain Chen said. But tomorrow, you might be the person we need to rescue from a cosmic storm. Or your people might have knowledge that could help us save another species from a plague. Or we might need to work together against a threat that endangers everyone. You would help us, after what we did? Commander, in the past 50 years, human rescue ships have saved over 2 billion alien lives across the galaxy. We've evacuated planets before asteroid impacts. We've provided medical aid during viral outbreaks. We've rescued ships lost in space storms. Do you think we checked the species of every person we saved? Zark felt something warm and strange in his chest. You helped our enemies too. We helped anyone who needed help. Zephyrians, Moltons, crystalline entities, even some of your own people when their colonies were threatened by solar flares. I didn't know that. Most people don't. We don't do it for recognition or gratitude. We do it because it's right. The communication officer's voice came through Zark's ship speakers. Commander, we're receiving a message from Galactic Council headquarters. Put it through to my quarters, Zark said. High Chancellor Vrex appeared on a second screen. His scaled face was twisted with anger. Commander Zark, what is the meaning of this retreat? You were ordered to conquer the human system. High Chancellor, Zark said carefully, the humans are more powerful than our intelligence report suggested. Impossible. They're a primitive species with basic technology. Zark looked at Captain Chen, who was listening quietly. Sir, with respect, our intelligence was completely wrong. The humans could have destroyed our entire fleet with ease. One human ship defeated 500 of our warships? Chancellor Vrex laughed mockingly. Zark, you've become weak. You're afraid of a single enemy vessel. Chancellor, Captain Chen said, speaking for the first time, if I may. Chancellor Vrex looked shocked to see a human on the transmission. How dare you interrupt a council communication? My apologies, Captain Chen said politely. I'm Captain Sarah Chen of the Earth vessel Mercy. I believe there's been a misunderstanding about today's events. A misunderstanding? Chancellor Vrex snarled. You attacked council forces. Actually, your forces attacked us first. We defended ourselves according to standard galactic law, but that's not the important part. Then what is? Captain Chen smiled gently. Chancellor, your invasion failed not because Commander Zark is weak, but because he's smart. He recognized that continuing the fight would only lead to unnecessary deaths. Deaths of my warriors, you mean? Deaths of everyone, sir, including humans. Chancellor Vrex laughed harshly. Humans, you're afraid of dying? Of course we are. Every life is precious. That's why we're offering you something better than conquest. What could you possibly offer the Galactic Council? Partnership, Captain Chen said simply. Chancellor Vrex stopped laughing. Partnership? Yes. Instead of trying to conquer each other, why don't we help each other? Earth has advanced technology, medical knowledge, and rescue capabilities. The Council has vast resources, exploration data, and knowledge of thousands of species. Together, we could make the galaxy a safer place for everyone. Why would we partner with a species that just humiliated our finest fleet? Because, Captain Chen said patiently, we don't want to be your enemies. We want to be your friends. Friends? Chancellor Vrex looked confused. Species don't become friends. They either conquer or get conquered. That's one way to live, Captain Chen agreed. But it's not the only way. Zark found himself speaking up. Chancellor, I've seen their ships. I've seen their capabilities. If humans wanted to conquer the galaxy, they could do it easily. But they don't want conquest. They want cooperation. You believe them? Zark looked at Captain Chen again. Yes, sir, I do. Chancellor Vrex was quiet for a long moment. What kind of partnership are you proposing? Simple, Captain Chen said. When someone in the galaxy needs help, rescue from natural disasters, medical aid, protection from pirates, we work together to provide it. When there are disputes between species, we talk instead of fighting. When new worlds are discovered, we explore them together instead of racing to claim them. And in exchange? In exchange, everyone benefits. More knowledge, more security, more friends, and fewer enemies. 6 months later, Commander Zark stood on the bridge of a new ship. Not a warship this time, but a joint exploration vessel crewed by both humans and aliens. Through the viewing window, he could see the Mercy keeping pace alongside them as they approached an uncharted star system. Commander, called his new science officer, a young human woman named Dr. Martinez. We're detecting signs of an ancient civilization on the third planet. Any signs of current inhabitants? Zark asked. Yes, sir, but they appear to be in distress. I'm reading the signatures of a massive volcanic eruption. Zark smiled. Captain Chen, are you getting this? Captain Chen's voice came through the communication system. We see it, Commander. The Mercy is already preparing rescue operations. How many people can your ship evacuate? About 10,000, Zark replied. Perfect. Let's go save some lives. As the two ships accelerated toward the endangered planet, Zark thought about how much his life had changed. 6 months ago, he had been a conqueror, spreading fear across the galaxy. Now he was a protector, working alongside the very people he had once tried to destroy. The Galactic Council still existed, but it was different now. Instead of a military alliance focused on conquest, it had become a cooperative organization dedicated to exploration and mutual aid. There were still conflicts, of course, still pirates and criminals to stop, still natural disasters to respond to. But now, when trouble arose, the galaxy's response wasn't fear and violence. It was hope and cooperation. And leading the way, as always, were the small white ships of Earth's rescue fleet, proving every day that the most powerful force in the universe wasn't destruction. It was compassion. As Zark watched the Mercy disappear into the planet's atmosphere to begin saving lives, he realized something that changed everything. The real question had never been why Earth sent only one ship. The real question was why they needed to send any ships at all. Because in a galaxy full of friends working together, there would be rescue ships everywhere, ready to help anyone who needed it. And that was a universe worth fighting for. Commander Zark watched his fleet shrink before his eyes. 350 ships, 320, 300. The human rescue vessel moved through space like a deadly ghost, and every ship it touched simply vanished from existence. Sir, the communication officer said with a trembling voice, the remaining fleet captains are begging for permission to surrender. Zark felt something break inside his chest. Surrender? The mighty Galactic Council fleet surrendering to one human ship? It was unthinkable, but watching his warships disappear one by one was even worse. Open a channel to the human ship, he whispered. Channel open, sir. Captain Chen, Zark called out, his voice no longer angry or threatening. Now he just sounded tired and defeated. Please, stop this destruction. We surrender. The blue beams stopped firing. The human ship, which had been spinning and dancing through his fleet like a deadly ballet dancer, suddenly came to a gentle stop. It floated peacefully in space, surrounded by the wreckage of Zark's broken dreams. Captain Chen's face appeared on the screen again. She looked genuinely sad now. Commander, she said softly, I'm sorry it came to this. We really didn't want to fight. How? Zark asked. How is this possible? How can a rescue ship destroy an entire battle fleet? That's what I've been trying to explain, Captain Chen replied. You attacked us without provocation. Under Earth's laws, that means we can defend ourselves. But you said this ship is for rescuing people. It is. The Mercy has saved millions of lives across the galaxy. We use it to evacuate planets during natural disasters, to provide medical aid during plagues, to rescue ships lost in space storms. Zark looked at his scanner readings. 250 ships left from his original 500. Half his fleet was gone, destroyed by a ship designed to save lives. "I don't understand," he said. "If your mission is to help people, how can you be so deadly?" Captain Chen smiled sadly. "Commander, think about it. To rescue people from dangerous situations, our ships have to be able to survive anything. Exploding stars, black holes, cosmic storms, solar flares. If a rescue ship can't protect itself, it can't save anyone." The scanner officer looked up from his instruments. "Sir, she's right. The energy readings I'm seeing, this ship could probably fly directly through a sun and come out undamaged. And to reach people in trouble quickly," Captain Chen continued, "our ships have to be fast, faster than anything else in space. When someone is dying, every second matters." "That explains the speed," Zark muttered. "But the weapons—" "Sometimes," Captain Chen said quietly, "the things that are hurting people aren't natural disasters. Sometimes they're pirates or slavers or warlords who attack innocent civilians. A rescue ship has to be able to stop threats like that to protect the people it's trying to save." Zark felt sick. Everything made terrible sense now. Earth's rescue ships were built to survive anything, move faster than anything, and destroy any threat to innocent life. No wonder the Mercy could tear through his fleet so easily. "Captain Chen," he said slowly, "if this is what your rescue ships can do, what are your actual warships like?" Captain Chen was quiet for a long moment. When she spoke again, her voice was very soft and very serious. "Commander, in all of human history, we have never needed to use our actual warships against another species." "What do you mean?" "Every conflict we've ever had with aliens has been resolved by ships like the Mercy, rescue vessels, medical ships, transport ships, science vessels. We've never had to send our military." Zark's purple skin went pale. "Never? Never. Because ships like this one have always been enough." The communication officer on Zark's ship suddenly called out, "Sir, I'm detecting new ships entering the system." "What?" Zark spun around. "How many?" I can't get an exact count, sir. They're appearing everywhere. Dozens of them, maybe hundreds." On the main screen, Zark could see new vessels materializing around his fleet. They looked similar to the Mercy, white hulls, clean lines, peaceful designs. But these ships were different sizes. Some were larger, some smaller. Some looked like they were designed for medical work. Others looked like exploration vessels. "Captain Chen," Zark said, "what are those ships?" "Reinforcements," she replied simply. "When we entered your space, Earth's Fleet Command began moving other vessels into position. Just in case. Other rescue ships, medical vessels, science ships, transport ships, even a few of our civilian cruise liners." Zark looked at the scanner readings. There were now over 300 human ships surrounding his remaining 250 warships. And according to his sensors, every single human vessel was as powerful as the Mercy. "Civilian cruise liners," he whispered. "You're telling me your vacation ships could destroy my fleet?" "Safety first, Commander. Our civilians travel through dangerous parts of the galaxy. Pirates, asteroids, solar storms. Their ships have to be able to handle any threat." The scout officer looked up from his station. "Sir, according to these readings, any one of those human ships could take on our entire remaining fleet and win." Zark felt like he was falling into a black hole. "Captain Chen, you said you've never had to use your actual warships. What would happen if you did?" Captain Chen's blue eyes became very cold. "Our warships aren't designed to rescue people, Commander. They're designed to end threats permanently. If Earth ever sent actual military vessels against someone—" She paused, and Zark could see something terrible in her expression. "There wouldn't be anyone left to surrender." The scanner officer suddenly called out in panic. "Sir, I'm detecting massive energy signatures at the edge of the system. Something's coming through hyperspace." "What is it?" Zark demanded. I don't know, sir. The energy readings are unlike anything I've ever seen. Whatever it is, it's huge, and it's moving this way." Captain Chen checked something on her console. "Oh," she said casually. "That would be Earth Fleet Command asking if we need assistance." "Fleet Command?" "Our actual military, Commander. I told them the situation was under control, but they wanted to check for themselves." Zark watched the edge of his scanner display with growing horror. Something enormous was approaching through hyperspace, something that made even the powerful rescue ship Mercy look small and harmless. "How big is it?" he whispered. Captain Chen looked at her readings again. Oh, that's just one of our patrol cruisers. Nothing too impressive. Our real warships are much larger. A patrol cruiser. One patrol cruiser that was bigger than anything Zark had ever seen. And Captain Chen called it nothing too impressive. Commander Zark, Captain Chen said gently, would you like to reconsider your invasion of this system? I'm sure we can work out a peaceful solution. Zark looked at his remaining 250 ships, surrounded by over 300 human civilian vessels, with something unimaginably powerful approaching from the edge of space. For the first time in his military career, Commander Zark understood what it meant to be completely and utterly outmatched. Yes, he said quietly, I would very much like to discuss peace.